Alrighty, let's do it. Got Galroch on Nurgle versus John FB on the Dark Elves. He's bringing out his double Kharybdis tech. I was talking about this a long time ago. They don't have any healing like the Hydras, but the basic premise is they have that Primal Scream or whatever, the -8 aura. Abyssal Howl. Gotcha. -8 leadership aura versus any faction with demonic units can be pretty impactful. And then they aren't anti-large arm-piercing duelists, so if you run into things like Chaos Knights, Soul Grinders, Kugath, Demon Prince of Nurgle, anything like that, they can do pretty well. So for the Dark Elves, since we already started talking about them, double Kharybdis, Khanate Assassin with Web of Shadows and Assassin's Trophy. And then we have Morathi with Soul Stealer, Power of Darkness, and Pit of Shades. That's actually a lot of spells for her. And then Dread Spears, looks like some Shades with dual weapons, the Helibroni, and a couple Witch Elves. No cavalry whatsoever, so no mobility presence for the Dark Elves. For Nurgle, we do have a front line of Marauders, a lot of Marauders, and then Nurglings mixed in, some Chaos Knights of Nurgle, Forsaken of Nurgle, and it looks like just 2 Throwing Axes. 2 Throwing Axes, 2 Chaos Knights, and a Demon Prince of Nurgle up in the sky with Fate of Buna and Stream of Corruption. And Fleshy Abundance. Wow, both sides taking a lot of spells here. Alright. Marauder's already terror routing away from the Kharybdis. And the other Kharybdis probably going to terror out more Marauders in just a second here. Just making that front line pretty difficult to keep on board. Witch Elves getting some decent damage into them from the Forsaken and Nurglings now charging them, but overall they're trading quite well, and some Nurglings are fading in the distance. More of Nurgle's front line is milling about, so they will have to find a way around or through the Dread Spears. And it looks like around is the better choice for them. The Fate of Bunas popped onto these Shades with dual weapons, since the Demon Prince does not want to be assaulted while he is getting up into the air, and it looks like the other one is about to be shut down by Chaos Knight, so he's not too worried about it. He does get away from Morathi, with an Assassin's Trophy plaguing him as he goes. Over here, Dread Spears are almost routing, but not quite. Nurgle does need to hurry up and get past them in one way or another, and it looks like the Bound Doombolt of Morathi is coming for the Chaos Knights of Nurgle. Gets a little bit of poke damage, but I think her Shades are doomed regardless. Things going well for Nurgle overall. Witch Elves almost routing. There's the terror outs. If these Marauder Horsemen can turn around and go into melee and actually chase them down, that would be superb. Both Chaos Knights are very healthy. The Demon Prince is very healthy, and the front line of Nurgle has a lot of love left to give. Balance of power is slightly in their favor, if not just 50-50. For the Dark Elves, both of their Kharybdis are very, very healthy. Morathi's healthy, Khanate Assassin's healthy, and they still have some front line left. The main losses they've taken is both their Shades are gone. That's pretty brutal. Otherwise, this game's still very early on. Big Pit of Shades from Morathi hits some Nurglings, but more importantly, the Chaos Knights, who also get rear charged by the Kharybdis, so in the end, that trade takes about half their HP, which is really brutal for Nurgle. They're going to try and get some vengeance through these Marauder Horsemen throwing axes, throwing at the Kharybdis themselves. Morathi and her Khanate Assassin helping the Helibroni fight random-ass Nurglings. And they're fine with that, throwing X's, taking their vengeance out on the Kharybdis. Kharybdis does have 35% missile resistance from its scaly skin, but with no regeneration, those throwing X's will still add up. And it looks like the Demon Prince is going to go try and fight the Kharybdis that is way far away from its support. So get a good isolation there. And it looks like we have a Soul Stealer going to hit 3 units. It doesn't do that much damage these days. It does a bit more to single entities than multi-entity models like this, but it's mostly for the heal. So unfortunately, that's not going to be too effective of a spell for the Dark Elves there. Demon Prince is in. He has plenty of support in these Marauders, trying to rout off the Witch Elves, but they are going to hold for now. And that could be a problem, because the only way he wins this fight with the Kharybdis is if he has Marauders supporting him and it has nothing supporting it. So it is currently going to take its day out on him. Pops a Fecundity tier 2 army ability of Nurgle on himself. That'll help him win the trade a little bit, and he does have Throwing Axis also offering their support. There the Witch Elves finally get going, so that should turn on its head in the favor of Nurgle now. Chaos Knights chasing off some Shades, just trying to stay away from any problems. Marauders also chasing off Dread Spears in the distance, it looks like. I'm missing one Chaos Knight. There he is. He was also chasing something off just behind the screen. So Nurgle's feeling like they got this. Dark Elves still relying on their 4 single entities and some tattered spears, but not a lot of their infantry left. Obviously, none of their ranged is left. And they have regrouped a bit. Marauder Horsemen throwing axes, firing in on the Kharybdises. This Demon Prince, it looks like he had Assassin's Trophy on him for a little bit. He's coming back to the fight now as Marathi charges in to some Marauders. This is going to get tough, though. With no range, nice Stream of Corruption. With no ranged and no mobility whatsoever, the Dark Elves are at the mercy of Nurgle's cycle charging, healing, and the rest of their throwing axes, though thankfully for the Dark Elves, the throwing axe ammo is extremely limited. But a lot of agency on the side of Nurgle. Now for the Dark Elves, you have a very impressive single entity blob that really can't be contested in melee by anything. Demon Prince is going to try and snipe out this Kharybdis that's all alone, with the Chaos Knights coming in behind. Good isolation there, and if he can route that monster, as we literally just mentioned, Nurgle has so much mobility advantage here that they could run it off the map. Looks like a big Soul Stealer coming in from Marathi. Again, she's chucking a ton of those out, and they'll do a bit of damage, but they're not healing her any. And we've already seen Pit of Shades from her, so she's running a little low on Winds of Magic at this point. Second Bound Doombolt is out. It misses because the Chaos Knights were moving, and the Kharybdis is routed, so what Nurgle has to do is back off of that Kharybdis, let it route, let it get away from this blob, and then chase it down in your own time. If they do this right now, they're just kind of penning it in. So then they're still right next to the Kharybdis, they're still right next to Marathi and this other Kharybdis. They're taking damage, and they're not going to deal damage to the Kharybdis because, I mean, in Warhammer 3 in general, but especially patch 4.0, chasing down routing units is just abysmally hard to do, so you need to just let them get away. Overcasted Fleshy Abundance damages the Demon Prince a little bit, but it's going to heal up him and both of his precious, precious Chaos Knights. They are getting some damage on the Kharybdis at last, and they finally tear it down. Bounce power shifts against the Dark Elves. The Kharybdis are about to dip, but a big Pit of Shades from Marathi gets canceled as the Demon Prince knocks her over. That could have been brutal, and that does give Galrach and Nurgle some time to readjust and unblobify, so that the next Pit of Shades cast isn't as brutal. She tries to cast Soul Stealer, immediately gets knocked over yet again, and the Kharybdis are routing, leaving the Dark Elves with no support, but Soul Stealer is going to hit literally everything here. So that'll be a nice big Soul Stealer, and we get some Terror Routes. Nurgling's also going to start Demonic Instability crumbling because they are next to that Kharybdis and taking damage, so there they go. Everything has routed off, and the Demons of Chaos, Nurgle. Nurgle might have gotten a little overconfident here. Now their healing cap is alive and well on their Demon Prince, closing in on him. Chaos Knights, one of them's very healthy and fighting away, but Marauder Horsemen are about to rout. Other Marauder Horsemen are in. And other Chaos Knights coming back in. Oh, these guys are very healthy. Never mind. Nurgle will be fine. I don't think these guys can fight their way out. Kharybdis will eventually get ground down. Demon Prince not looking too hot, but now that the Kharybdis has routed, there's really nothing that can stop him. Marathi gets a huge Pit of Shades onto some Knights, but even that just will not matter as the Demon Prince closes in on foot. She's just not that good of a combatant, which is fine. Not saying that's a bad thing. GG. 2,600 on the Demon Prince of Nurgle. Chaos Knights both did well. Forsaken, pretty mixed value overall. Marauder Horsemen throwing axes did fantastically. And Marauders did okay. Nurgling still struggled. Marathi got great value. The Kharybdis, one of them did great. The other one really struggled to find a place. Shades got shut down, and Witch Elves did fine. This does implement some of the, shows some of the problems of not having any mobility pressure. You just lose a lot of agency. And if they can snipe out your range tools and then all you have left is just like a melee blob, cycle charging, good use of healing spells, and patience can whittle you down quite effectively. So the double Kharybdis tech is neat. It's just so expensive for a very one-win condition playstyle, I guess. Because, like, Galrach had 5 dogshit demonic units and then his Lord. But as long as his Lord avoided the Kharybdis, there wasn't a lot of other things he could demonic instability crumble. I think the double Kharybdis build would probably be better versus straight up Demons of Chaos. I don't know how they could deal with that. Yeah. Could be menacing there. Versus Nurgle, especially, they could just heal up stuff so they can stay away from their leadership cap where they would start crumbling, but it's still a neat tag. It works better than you'd think it would. Like, they still did all right for being Kharybdis, which is generally considered a terrible unit, so it's always interesting to see. GG. Roar. Subscribe, yes, yes.